Hello there. The 2023 election is going to go down in history as one that was written by a 19th century French absurdist poet on opium because it's just getting so weird as we get to the end of it. For example, there was an opinion poll released yesterday morning by The Guardian, which was a bit different to the other polls that we've seen. It saw a swing to the left and an increase in MPs for New Zealand First that would bring in two conspiracy theorists. You'd have Tanya, Let's Nuremberg the Politicians, Unkovic, and Kirsten. 9/11 wasn't real, but chemtrails are, and JFK Jr. and Donald Trump are teaming up to save America. Murphy. Those two would be in Parliament under this polling, and that's a little concerning. On top of that, you had this, I want to call it a tweet, even though it's not Twitter anymore, from Christopher Luxon, where he points out that yes, dinosaurs did exist. And I mean, to be fair, when you live in a country where this is one of the animals, you should understand, of course, that dinosaurs existed because this is a freaking dinosaur. But the thing that really gets me about this, well, there's two things that really get me about this. The tiny little niggly one is the fact that the tax reliefosaurus should technically be called the Tributum subsidiosaurus because dinosaurs are named in Latin. The other thing that really gets me about this, though, is that the tax relief that they're talking about is so specifically targeted that while the lower income earners in this country might get $2.18 a week, landlords will be in line for $3.5 billion worth of tax subsidies and reliefs and breaks over 5 years. In fact, landlords who own over 100 properties, of which there's about 300 of them, will literally be making millions of dollars in tax breaks. While people who happen to be on something like a disability allowance or an unemployment benefit, they're going to be re-indexed so they actually miss out on major increases in payments over the years. That would come to about $17,000. Let me put it another way for you. If you live in Auckland, for example, the removal of the regional fuel tax, which ends up going onto your rates because the council still has to pay for it, will give you a 7% increase in your rates, which works out to be on average $4.92 per week per household. Your $2.18 a week tax break isn't even going to cover that, and that's before worrying about things like early childhood costs or prescription medicines or public transport. But that's okay because these landlords over here are going to be getting $3.5 billion worth of tax breaks. It's almost like this policy was somehow written for a group specifically that might have a vested interest and therefore invested an awful lot of money in the political party that was going to put it forward. I'm pretty sure that these groups are looking at Nicola Willis and going, clever girl, right before they jump in and rip her innards out, much like Robert Muldoon, actually, in Jurassic Park, not the former Prime Minister. Weird little coincidence there. Generally speaking, the tax plan is terrible, and it's taken the media far too long to jump on the fact that this is a terrible tax plan. But the bright side is that there is certainly a chance for voters to go out there and have their say and tell those parties how terrible their plans are. Election day sees about 1 million people go out and vote, which is huge. It's massive amounts of people that will sway the election. So, if you're one of those people who haven't voted yet, you've got till 7 o'clock Saturday night to go out and have your vote. If you're in the line at 7 o'clock, stay there because you can still vote. And then tune in to listen to me on freefm.org.nz or on my YouTube and Facebook pages where I will be streaming the results live and talking to a whole bunch of people about a whole bunch of things. But until then, please go out and vote and make sure that whether or not you believe in dinosaurs or JFK Jr. or Nuremberging people, that the will of the people is what actually gets heard, and that we don't let crazy people into Parliament.